After 1 month. But now I started class. I started now. Good afternoon to all of you. See, today I will discuss doubly reinforced sections. You can see this one here. See, all of you should type your USN name and division. Type your name, USN, division like that. In any format you type, I should get your name, USN, and division. So let us see what is this doubly reinforced section. See, when do we call a beam as a doubly reinforced beam? You observe here. A beam which has reinforcement in both tension as well as compression zones is called as a doubly reinforced beam. Now you look at this diagram. In this beam, if you see here, there are 3 bars are there in the tension zone, which we have studied in the previous classes. If I put the steel bars in the compression zone also, you can say that it is a simply supported beam. It is not a cantilever beam. It is a simply supported beam now. So the compression zone is above the neutral axis. So if I provide steel rods in the compression zone also, in addition to the tension zone, it is called as doubly reinforced beam. It means it has reinforcement bars in both compression as well as tension zones. So why we should provide? What is the necessity of this? When do we go for a doubly reinforced section? When the depth of a beam is restricted. When the depth of the beam is restricted, if the depth has to be restricted, and I want more moment of resistance. See, to increase the moment of resistance, there are 2 possibilities: increase the depth or increase the reinforcement. Or the third option is provide steel in the compression zone also. So there are so many options to increase the moment of resistance. One is increase the depth. If you increase the depth, no need to provide compression steel, means steel in the compression zone. So once again, I will repeat, observe, when the depth of the beam is restricted, where this is done, I'll just draw one figure, observe here. Just observe this figure. So this is a auditorium, elevation of an auditorium. This is balcony beam. Whatever I have shown you here is a balcony beam. This is a balcony beam here. Since the total height is restricted here, since the available height is less, the available height is less here. Observe this one. The available height is less. In that one only, I have to adjust the balcony as well as people who are sitting in this at this level also. So you can imagine any multiplex or anything like this. So this is a beam and the balcony is here. Okay. Now, if a person sitting here, if a person sitting here like this, he should have some height here. Okay. Since the load in the balcony of cinema theaters is more than a residential load, okay, so we have to design beam stronger beams here. I should make this beam strong. So if I want to make this beam strong, either it means strong means moment of resistance should be more. Either I should increase the depth, or I should go for doubly reinforced sections. Now here, if I increase the depth, there may be a problem of headroom here. Headroom may not be sufficient for the person. If he stands up, he should not, his head should not touch this bottom of the beam. So what is the solution for this is to increase the moment of resistance, keeping the depth constant, means same. What I can do here is I can provide steel in the compression zone. What it means here is, if I provide steel in the compression zone without increasing the depth, I can increase the moment of resistance. So this is where I can go for here doubly reinforced section. So when the depth of the beam is restricted, like this cinema theater multiplexes here, this is what is done. Okay. In case of long span continuous beams, if the beam is continuous over several supports, what happens at the section, near the section, the tension zone will be above the neutral axis. So this is very important observation that you need to understand here. I'll show you this one. Observe what is the meaning of this. In case of a long span, let us say these are the different supports here, and this is your beam. It's a continuous beam. It's like this. So near the supports, observe here, near this support, assuming that the end spans are freely supported, and these are free, not fixed. So the intermediate supports, over the intermediate supports, what will happen? Tension is above the neutral axis here. In between the supports, tension is below the neutral axis because hogging moment is there near the intermediate supports. Whenever the moment is hogging, tension zone will be above the neutral axis. So sometimes there will be a problem. That is why here I need to go for steel at the top. Steel at the top. So while doing so, we just extend the bars and make it a doubly reinforced section, so that I can, for a lesser depth, I can develop same moment of resistance. So this is what is when the beam is subjected to reversal of loads. This is in case of bridges and all, bridges, or let us say water tank, underground water tank. See, underground water tank, what happens? If the water is not there, earth pressure acts on the water tank from outside. If the surrounding soil is not there and the water tank is filled with water, the pressure is on the wall away from the inside point. That means imagine two situations. Water is not there inside the water tank, it is underground water tank, whereas the earth is exerting pressure. That time water is not there. Imagine the surrounding earth is removed, but the water tank is filled. That time the hydrostatic pressure acts on the water tanks. This is what we call the reversal of stresses or reversal of loads. So whenever the loads are getting reversed, the tension and compression zone will change. If the force is acting upwards here, if all the forces are acting upwards, okay, what happens is tension zone is above the neutral axis. If the force is acting downwards, in case of a simply supported beams, don't worry about this continuous. That time the tension zone will be below the neutral axis. If such reversal is going on, we have to provide the steel in both the zones. when the beam is subjected to accidental horizontal loads, lateral loads. That time also, whenever a beam is subjected to accidental, which is very rare case actually. Suddenly, if a if a if a fast moving vehicle collides with a beam, if a fast moving vehicle collides with the beam, it is accidental lateral load on the beam. So in case of bridges and all, or those who are open to the beams which are open to the traffic, that time there may be an accidental horizontal loads, or in case of earthquakes also. Okay, so this is what is the necessity. So the definition and necessity of doubly reinforced section is over here. Then page number 96 of IS 456 G1.2 section with compression reinforcement. Whatever I have shown in the compression zone here, see this one. These bars which are present in the compression zone, it is called as the codebook. What it says? Codebook says it as section with compression reinforcement. It is on page number 96. I don't know whether it is there in this. I'll just check it. Otherwise, yes, it is in the previous class. Whatever page was loaded, same thing you can see. G1.2. G1.1 is, see this. This is G1. G1 is rectangular sections. In that one, G1.1 is singly reinforced section that we discussed in the previous class. Now you continue the same. G1.2. G1.2 means it is a doubly reinforced section. G1.1 means whatever we discussed is singly reinforced section. There was no steel in the compression zone. Now here G1.2 is section with compression reinforcement. So this is G1.2. You have to refer here like this. How to calculate the actual depth of neutral axis. Then how to find the moment of resistance of a doubly reinforced section. See, in the previous classes, what we have done, we are able to find out XU limit, then moment of resistance using the appropriate formula. As you can see this one here, once again, I'll repeat here in case of previous classes, whenever the section is over reinforced, once again, I'm telling you, use this formula. Many students have done mistake here. See this one. Use this one. If the section is means over reinforced. If the section is balanced, which I have not given any problem, out of 6 problems, not even a single problem is balanced. If the section is balanced, you can use any one of these two, this or this. Anyone will give the same answer because XU will be equal to XU limit only. You can use any formula there. So let us come back to doubly reinforced section here. I'll go to that. So what I have done here is, this is a necessity and definition. Let us go to governing equations. Governing equations for doubly reinforced sections. Governing equations means, how do you find XU? How do you find XU limit? How do you find moment of resistance? Now observe here what I have done. Governing equations for doubly reinforced sections. I have drawn this figure as usual. D definition is same. D is top to the center of the tension steel is small d. Capital D is overall depth, which I have not shown here. B is, as you know, width of the beam. D dash, you can see this D dash. D dash is the distance between top fiber and the center of compression steel. Now what is ASC and AST here? Area of steel in the compression zone, ASC. We can say area of compression steel. AST is area of tension steel. So like this we can, this is just same diagram. Actually I have not indicated the values in this case. It is a strain diagram. Everything is same here. Now what happens here is how the beam develops moment of resistance. How a doubly reinforced section develops moment of resistance. Observe, I have shown here this plus this. Now observe this. I have shown here in case this one plus this one. You can see plus is there in between. It means a doubly reinforced section develops two couples, not a single couple. Because it develops two couples, that is why its moment of resistance has increased compared to a singly reinforced beam. Now it means if I remove, imagine if I remove these two rods, the second last diagram will disappear. It becomes a singly reinforced section. Just observe this. Imagine these two bars are removed. It becomes a singly reinforced section. The last couple, that is last diagram, will disappear. You can imagine like that. So it means a doubly reinforced section develops two couples. One is as usual for a singly reinforced section. You can see the diagram here. I'll just call it as 1, 2, 3. I'll call 3 and 4. I'll call this as 3. Just observe this. This is 3. This diagram is 4. Okay. Look at 3 and 4 here. 3 is nothing but as if it is a singly reinforced section. I have drawn this figure. CU1 and TU1. CU1 and that, see, in case of singly reinforced, I use CU and TU. Here I am going to write it as CU1 and TU1. It means a couple is formed due to singly reinforced beam action here. Then second couple is formed due to the extra here. That is, whatever steel is there in the compression zone, it will produce a force, stress into area. Stress into area. That is, if stress in the compression steel is FSC and area of these two rods is ASC, pi by 4 into d square. 2 into pi by 4 d square is ASC. Okay. So FSC into ASC is CU2. Now we try to understand what is CU2. CU2 is the compressive force developed in the compression steel. So CU2 is equal to stress in the compression steel into area of compression steel. That is simple stress formula. It is stress is equal to load by area. Load is equal to stress into area. So CU2 is equal to stress into area. So stress in compression steel into area of compression steel, which comes later actually. That also I will show you. So what is TU2? Now TU1 and TU2 you try to understand carefully. Out of AST, part of the steel is used for forming one couple. There are, let us say, 4 bars are there. Let us say 2 bars are used for forming this couple. So I'll call here TU1 means AST1 will come in this formula. 0.87 Fy AST1. TU1 is equal to what? 0.87 Fy into AST1. It means part of the tension steel is used to form this first couple, page, that is diagram 3. And remaining part of the tension steel, remaining part, let us say 2 more bars, is used up to develop this couple, second couple, that is TU2. So what is TU2? TU2 is equal to 0.87 Fy into AST2. So AST1 comes here, AST2 comes here. If I add these two, I'll get AST. What is AST? AST is AST1 plus AST2. So this is little bit initially there will be some confusion. I'll show you with the help of a problem. What you need to understand basically, a doubly reinforced beam develops two couples as against a single couple developed by a singly reinforced beam, which we have been discussing in all the previous classes. Now the next question is, actually I answered one question here regarding why the moment of resistance of a doubly reinforced beam is higher. It is higher because it develops two couples. It is not developing a single couple. So this theory will be more clear. You can see later on. Now look at this distance between these two forces here. CU1 and TU1 distance is this Z, which is D minus 0.42 XU. Total is D. You can see this is D. In that one is subtract. A number of times I am telling you this distance. You should remember this one from top up to this. How much is this? 0.42 times XU. So where XU, as already you know, XU is depth of actual neutral axis. It means in D, if you subtract 0.42 XU, you will get Z. It is same. See this first diagram. You see whatever 3 is shown here. It is nothing but couple with respect to a singly reinforced section. Plus you have to add one more couple here. So what is the distance between Cu2 and Tu2 here? Just observe. Distance between Cu2 and Tu2. Carefully observe. It is D minus D dash. D minus D dash means you observe this. Total is D. In that one you subtract D dash. You will get D minus D dash, which is the distance between center of compression steel to center of tension steel. What is this lever arm here? The lever arm is D minus D dash, which is nothing but distance between center of compression steel to center of tension steel. So this is what is the formation of two couples is taking place in case of doubly reinforced sections. Now the beam develops two couples as shown in the above 3 and 4 figures. You have to add this 3 to. So therefore Mu is equal to Mu1 plus Mu2. Now what it means here is if I remove the compression steel in the compression zone, these bars, 2 bars, if I remove these two, what will happen here is, imagine that is removed, this will become 0. It becomes a singly reinforced section. If I remove the compression steel, there is no question of second couple formation. Since compression steel is there, that is why one more couple is formed. With respect to that couple, it is Mu2. With respect to singly reinforced beam action, Mu1 is there. Totally it is Mu1 plus Mu2. So the moment of resistance of doubly reinforced beam is Mu1 plus Mu2. This will be clear actually when you actually attempt a problem. Now the next calculations are, how do you find the actual depth of neutral axis? How to find XU and XU limit? The formula for that. Now observe here. Expression for actual depth of neutral axis, XU limit. Okay. 0.36. Observe this. This total is total compressive force. Now observe this. Total compression is equal to total tension formula I have used. Whether it is singly reinforced or doubly reinforced, the formula is same. Cu is equal to Tu is used. Now what is Cu? This much is Cu. What is Tu? This is Tu. You can see the Tu has not changed. Tu, that is in case of singly reinforced or doubly reinforced, it is same here. Tu is same. What happened to Cu here? Can you understand what is this? What has happened here? One term has come extra as against singly reinforced section. This is extra here. You can see this is extra. If you substitute this as 0, let us say ASC is 0. Let us say rods are not there in the compression zone, means this will 0. You can see the formula becomes that of singly reinforced section. What was the formula? 0.36 FCK BXU is equal to 0.87 FYAST. Because I have introduced steel rods in the compression zone, that this term has appeared. FSC into ASC is one extra term. So if you are asked to calculate the XU for a doubly reinforced section, this extra term has to appear, which is FSC means what? Stress in the compression steel into area of compression steel. This one is extra. This term is extra. Now you look at this formula and compare this one with a singly reinforced section. This term is not there. The term which is in green I have shown, that will not be there if the section is singly reinforced. How do you find XU limit? There is no change in XU limit calculation. Everything is same here. So XU limit by D, use this formula. For Fe415 steel, it is 0.48. Same thing, it is same thing as singly reinforced sections. So calculation of XU limit, there is no change. Fe500, the value of XU limit by D is 0.46. What I'm trying to say here is absolutely no change in the way you calculate XU limit. Okay, let us go to the next page here. Now here in this page, the important thing that we have learned here is FSC into ASC. One term extra is introduced when you calculate the depth of actual neutral axis XU. When you calculate XU, you remember this extra term FSC ASC, which was not there in case of singly reinforced sections. So let us go to the next page. Now the calculation of FSC is not easy. Observe here. Stress in the compression steel is not easy here. How to find FSC is a very important calculation is there. I'll show you here. This one. This is not easy. 9 minutes are there, but I'll try to cover it. This value, see this. This one. FSC calculation is not easy here. What is FSC? FSC is the stress in the compression steel, because the steel in the compression zone, they are compressed. Steel in the tension zone, they are in tension. So here we are going to calculate FSC means stress developed in the compression steel. Okay, how to calculate it is in the next page. Only one method I will tell you today. 2-3 methods are there. You have to refer table F of SP16. It looks something like this. It looks something like this. Okay. Now using this table, I can easily find out FSC for any problem. For any problem. So where it is, I'll show you in the. I'm having SP16 page also here. See this one. Only 2 pages I have taken here. See, this is doubly reinforced section here. You can see doubly reinforced sections. This is on page number 12. 12 of SP16, not IS456. So you need to refer SP16. I'll go to the next page. Now observe here where it is. On page number 13 of SP16, you can see this. It is here. See this. It is where it is. Table F. You can see this. How do you find FSC value? This is how you should find out. In the table that I have given in the notes, I have included Fe250 also. In this code book, it is not given because it is a single number, single value for all ratios. How to use this d dash by d to find out FSC is important. If you know how to do it, you can solve the problem now. Now you can see this d dash by d ratio. D dash already I have defined, d already you know it. D dash is the distance between the top fiber and center of compression steel is d dash. D is distance between top fiber and center of tension steel, that is small t. So this ratio, if you know it in the problem, if d dash is given and d is given, you can easily find out the value of FSC. Now for example, let us take in the problem Fe415 steel is used and the d dash by d ratio is working out to be 0.1. How I am getting 0.1? Let us imagine d dash is 50 mm, d dash, and d is 500 mm. D dash is 50, d is 500. So d dash by d is 0.1. So this ratio is 0.1 corresponding to 415 steel and d dash by d 0.1. The value of FSC is 353. The value of FSC is 353. When this will happen is, imagine I told you 50 is D dash, 500 is D. So D dash by D is 0.1, which is here 0.1. For 415 and 0.1 D dash by D ratio, the value of FSC is 353 Newton per mm square. I'll show you again with respect to problem also. Okay. Now let us see this. Only 5 minutes are left here. I'll solve one problem. I'll just show you how to solve a problem here. Doubly reinforced section, what they want here is, I'll be able to complete this problem in this class. 5 minutes are there. All of you type your USN, division and name. To find the factored moment of resistance, type 1 problem. Now observe here. Now the size, you can see the size of the beam is 230 by 460. Compression steel is also there, 2 bars of 16 mm. Tension steel is 4 bars of 20 mm. Okay. Now you're supposed to find out the moment of resistance. In order to find out moment of resistance, you should check whether the beam is under reinforced or over reinforced and use the appropriate formula. Let us calculate it. So ASC is equal to 2 times pi by 4 d square 402. AST 4 times pi by 4 20 square 1256. D dash is 40 mm. D dash is 40 mm. Step number 1. Find out XU and XU limit. I have used the same formula 0.36 FCK XUB FSC into ASC. You can see here in this formula XU will be unknown to you, that has to be calculated. But what about FSC? FSC is also unknown in the first place, that has to be calculated first. Then substitute all in this equation number 1, find out XU. Because already you know ASC, AST, FY, everything is known to you. Only thing is that I think I forgot to mention here. It is there, M20 FE 415, that is also given. It means before you can use this equation 1 here, you have to calculate FSC. How I do, observe here. D dash by D, I got it as 40 by 460. Only 3 minutes are there. 40, this is 40 here. D dash is 40. Top to the center of compression steel is 40 mm given in the problem. Is it clear, this one? You can see this. This is 40. Distance between center of compression steel and top of the beam. So that is D dash. So D dash is 40, D is 460. So first calculate D dash by D. 40 by 460. One important observation is it is 0.087. In your table, this D dash by D is not there. So go to the next higher value is 0.1. Choose next higher value. How I have done? Remember this 0.087. Huh? I'll go to that page. Remember 0.087. Now observe here. FE415, there is after 0.05 directly 0.1 is there. So the value is 0.087. That value of D dash by D is more than this, less than 0.1. If this is the case, always go to the next higher number, which is 0.1. Now I will take it as 0.1 for FE415. The stress FSC is 353. This is how I am getting 353. How I got FSC is important here. I got it as 353. 1 minute is left. So choose the next higher value, which is 0.1 corresponding to table F or whatever. I am getting FSC as 353, substituting in this equation. You substitute all except XU will not be known to you. FSC is 353 now. Everything else is known. Get the value of XU. Again, XU limit by D is 0.48. For FE415, this ratio is 0.48. XU limit is 220.8. XU is 188.15. XU is less than XU limit. It is section is under reinforced. Use this formula. Use this formula. What is this formula here? I think in the next class I will again come back to this and I will explain. Mu 0.36 FCBK. See this formula here. Try to observe this one. The time is about to end now. It has got two terms. One is this, one more is this. In singly reinforced, this was not there. Second term was not there. So FSC ASC into D minus D dash. If that is Cu